Underdog Daily with Badge Bros, John, and not Nez today. He's got a replacement. We got to fill in here. We got the redacted champion from last year in the best ball NBA street. Our guy Winky, the guy who brings you 10 takeaways every single night there. A must read for anyone playing in the daily streets of NBA. We're going to talk a little double dribble right now and walk it through NBA tip-off next Tuesday. Winky, next Tuesday. You getting excited for some hoops action or what?
Yeah, as Levitan likes to say, it almost makes you feel like you'd be alive. You know what I'm saying?
Almost, baby.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, yeah. It feels really good. I'm actually excited. Like we're just breaking down like photos from training camp left and right in our Slack, and we're just reading between the lines and the coach speak and stuff. Like it's like I feel like we're already in full season like swing now.
That's awesome. So you got a pulse on the preseason stuff right now?
Yeah, that's literally. I mean, not to shamelessly promote my boy Mike, but he has an awesome daily, pretty much roundup of everything that happened from the night before in preseason, like notable takeaways in terms of rotations, who may have moved up or down, starting lineup changes, what even matters. A lot of these starting lineups in the preseason really don't matter. Coaches are just trying things out, but Mike's been doing it long enough to know what's kind of sticky or not. So he's always a good resource. Yeah, besides me, I was literally just looking at some rotations from last night before we jumped on. So yeah, pretty in tune. I'm fully loaded and ready to like fire.
Awesome, man. Yeah, let's talk about just like we'll do some macro stuff and we'll talk about top down on double dribble here, but your own process right now, like how deep are you with the stuff? Because double dribble, we're fastly approaching 70% here. I was in one this morning there. I think we were like 62, 63, 60, something like that. So we got about a week's time to fill the double dribble here. How far along in your process are you?
I don't think people realize how hard it is to go 150 on both these sites, like on NBA, because I've been like literally as soon as NFL season started, like stopped, I just dove straight into NBA, and some of those rooms at the beginning just took forever to fill. So I was looking the other day. I think I have about 30 more on DraftKings and 25 more on Underdog, which is hard because we're like you said, there's only a week or so to go. So it's almost like 6 drafts a day I have to do. And trust me, the girlfriend and son are not really big fans of that. My attention levels are just like bottom level right now at the house.
No, man.
Yeah, almost done.
Man. Yeah, we all battle through that one with this love of labor that we do in the basketball streets here. Let's just talk, high level on basketball in general for NBA there, because I think it's really caught on the last couple years here. Traditionally speaking, everyone's attention is on NFL in that part of the calendar, and that's what really holds NBA back in a basketball capacity there. But you and I both love it there. I'm more of the daily grind guy. What can we do to make people love NBA basketball?
Well, I mean, maybe I'm just me being biased. I just won the thing that last year, but I've always just thought it's just easier. I mean, not to sound like a cop out. I just think basketball is just more predictive sport, less variance. If you know coaches, if you know teams, tendencies, like it's just, especially with the guys that we have on our squad. I keep trying to like hold back from whoring us out, but like Dink and Mike like have been doing this for a million years, and sometimes even I have questions. I'm like, all right, what do I take from this and that? So I could they're like a good reference for me, but it's just those questions rarely happen because we all usually know what we're thinking the same time. Like we're all thinking the same thing anyway, but it's always good to have that reference when you have like two G's in that department. Like sometimes I overthink things. Sometimes I'm like, should I really dig too much into this guy backing up this guy right now? And they're like, nah, they're just trying shit out, But yeah, I personally, I think it's more predictable. I understand the fun with football. I told Rudman when I first started working for Underdog, I told the Rudman, I'm like, my goal is to get NBA basketball as big as NBA basketball as big as NFL basketball.
Yeah.
And he kind of like looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, all right, give me some time. And I promise you, Nick, I'm trying. I know you're not seeing the traction right now, but I'm trying.
Well,
people just don't watch the NFL. That's all.
Oh, man. Let's talk about the ways in which you try here because, man, 10 takeaways. It's been one of my favorite night after night. It keeps me in the loop, especially when I miss, some of the late night games or something like that. And I could just tap into you as a resource. You guys share that on the Establish the Run NBA stuff now, which is Establish Run NBA on the Twitterverse there. You previously shared it on Underdog, and then you're always retweeting it on your own feed there, guys. Link it in the bio below to follow Winky. But yeah, man, talk me through that. Like, are you watching like every game every night to get those takeaways? What kind of resources are you reliant on to come up with those takeaways each night? Because man, you write, what is it, like almost 2,000 words every single night on the slate?
Yeah, it's pretty psychotic, but you're actually not going to believe it. But I kind of started doing takeaways for myself. Like it was
Okay.
like a selfish practice. Like I don't trust my memory as much as I used to. Like I mean, trust me, I did this to myself. You know, I've partied my share of days, so my memory isn't the same as it once was. So as
Yeah.
a practice for me, I figured, you know, what, I'm just going to do like every takeaway or like the most important things I learned from every night. I'm just going to jot them down. And then I started doing it articulately, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. People like it. And then obviously Underdog saw what I was doing, but it's really psychotic. If you saw my setup, I do have multiple screens. I have the multi-view screen on the multiple screens. So I do try to mimic Vegas on a much smaller scale in my
Yeah.
bedroom. Sometimes it's portable. Like you would laugh last year when I was taking Cassius to practice. Cassius is my son, by the way. When I was taking Cassius to practices, there's times where I would literally just like drop him off, and then I would go to the parking lot and I would have my external monitors, and I would set them in my car, and I'd kind of come up. I'd literally do that. I swear to God, people would walk by me all the time, like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? but that's how psychotic it got, and yeah, it just shows the love of the sport that I have. I mean, even regardless of us wagering on it, like I've been a basketball fanatic since I was a little tiny baby. So, but yeah, this is the next evolution of me being a basketball fanatic. Just yeah, the screens are real. I'm doing it. I'm watching all the games at once to initially answer your first question.
Yeah, no, that's incredible, man. That's awesome. Such a labor of love, as we call it around here. But you're so tapped in, man. And I just want to share with the community, because like everyone here, man, we cite it every day as your resource. Like every time we walk through a slate, be like, hey, man, what was in Winky's takeaways last night? So yeah, man, we appreciate the work you do, even if it isn't as glorious or as glamorous as people might think it is, because you're working hard, dude. I love it.
I am busting my ass. I will suck my own dick on that. Like I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. Yeah.
Well, hey, man, the work paid off in a big way last year with you taking down first and second in the DK best ball stuff there. Excuse me, redacted best ball stuff. Incredible, bro. That was so good for you, so good for the community to show, man. Game of skill. Like you're putting in the time, you're putting in the work, you're understanding these rotations, you're watching every single night, and then it pans out for you. So mad love to you for that, dude. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the love that the community showed me at the time. It was really cool. It felt very family-like, and that's why I love the fantasy community so much. I've told people this for many, many years. It's really not like a community like it. Everyone really just kind of has each other. There's a couple bad apples, but most people kind of have each other's backs and we're rooting for each other. And so it was kind of fun to be on everyone's back for a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Yeah, it is. I mean, right here with the Bachelors, man, it's a reflection of that every single day. Like people are just genuinely congratulating one another every time they win, sending love out that way, which is weird, because it is kind of like a zero-sum ecosystem where like you are playing against these people night after night, but you're also celebrating in their success, which is very cool. Yeah, you don't find that a lot of places, man.
I think about that all the time, how crazy it is. Like that's just such a weird concept that you're competing against these people and yet you're rooting for the same people. It's just
right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is, man. Absolutely. Let's talk about some double dribble stuff. Talk about where you're at in your process, some of your favorite targets, all this sort of stuff. But we were talking so much about that preseason stuff. You're talking about Mike's article every single day on ETR there. What is something that you're looking for right now in this window of time that is actionable for the people for the next 7 days here, as drafts really start to ramp up to fill this last kind of 35-40% of the contest?
Well, right now you're pretty much getting the final cuts in training camp. We got a couple from the Nets yesterday. But yeah, you're pretty much trimming the edges, so you pretty much know who to eliminate from rotations. But you also want to see who's winning backup point guard battles, who's winning the backup center battles, who's winning. There's still a handful of teams that starters are still in the air. Like one of them, we were talking pre-stream about Nikola Jovic. Like we've been on that tip for a minute at ETR. We've kind of assumed that he was going to start, especially when the Tyler Harrow news happened, it just made so much sense for him to start like next instead of having Kalel and Bam next to each other. You just need more shot creation, just things like that. More clarity. That's pretty. This is like imagine like the final stretch of NFL when you know who that backup running back is. You know who that's exactly what's happening in NBA right now, and we're pretty much working nonstop in our Slack to see if we notice anything. Coach speak, like even just rotation changes. We're taking games away just on injuries. Like we found out one of my favorite targets, Ace Bailey. He's dealing with a little bit of knee tendonitis, I think it was. So we took 3 or 4 games away from him. Just little things like that to just constantly stay up to date. But yeah, I pretty much know my go-to guys as is right now. But now it's just to make sure I'm not doing any dumb mistakes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense there. Let's talk about some of those go-to guys, man, because the people are going to want the Champs Alpha right now. They know you're deep in the weeds here. Let's talk about some of those guys. I'll pop over to the stuff on the platform here. Let me give it one more zoom there. I mean, you don't have to give away your whole secret sauce, but if you'd like to, I'm accepting of it. Let's talk first before isolated targets here, Winky. Let's talk about structurally. There's been a lot of talk in our contest about the 6-6-4 builds, how to play the big position, big scoring so much better on our site than on the redacted site with the stocks being 3 points there. You can play a big in your flex. So even if you do have a Joker or Wemby team, sometimes guys are still taking 3 out here, sometimes even 4. Just macro thoughts on how you're building on Underdog right now.
Well, yeah, you are correct. The Underdog's scoring system is more friendlier for bigs. The only difference is the scarcity is way different on both sites. That other site, they have a lot of guys that are for still some reason listed as wings or forwards, I should say, on their site.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, because there's so many more bigs to choose from here, you could actually wait a little bit longer, which is what I tend to do. There's still guys that are like in the 16th or 15th rounds that I target. As opposed to the other site, there's not many bigs in those later rounds that you could take a flyer on. At that point, pretty much the water's dried up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out. Is your strategy with big what really drives your roster construction, or is it scarcity at another position this year that is like, hey man, I'm jamming wing early. Hey man, I'm looking to do 7 wing builds. What's your macro there?
I think generally what I tell people all the time, I usually go 6-7-3 or 7-6-3, occasionally 6-6-4. Depends. I have a cutoff line. Pretty much, if my first big is I'll say Rudy Gobert or later, that's when I start. That's when I start considering going 4 bigs.
Okay, so about that 81.6 ADP threshold.
Yeah, you can still go 3 with Rudy. That's just when I start considering it. Especially, you also have to consider the bigs that you are selecting. Some guys want to take a flyer on somebody like Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? But how many games is he going to play? Maybe. I know. We just had this talk with somebody in our chat, and I know Dink's response was well, if you're taking Embiid, you're banking on kind of that upside. So I wouldn't go. Me personally, I understand that there's still a little bit of upside. Maybe if you get a couple usable Embiid weeks when you could really use them. I don't know. I still sometimes take 4 when I go with somebody like Embiid, but it's not recommended. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to make is that you also want to look at the guys that you are selecting. If they're injury prone, yes, 4 makes sense to me as long as it's not an early big. But yeah, 6-7-3 or 7-6-3 is usually my build 85% of the time.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, actually, it's funny you bring up Embiid because obviously it's just been such a talking point because we're accustomed on the daily slates for him being a top 5 selection when he does play. But that team has the most back-to-backs of any team this season. We know he doesn't really play back-to-backs. Are you encouraged? At least the most recent little nugget on Underdog is that he's going to play in the preseason on Friday. So is that anything that gets you excited about Embiid?
No, not really. I mean, we actually just, I know Nick Nurse was just talking about Embiid earlier. I was just sharing it on our Slack. He said that there's some chance that Embiid is going to be ready for the season opener, which, yeah, I get it. There's some chance. But he said the boxes have not been cleared yet. I don't know. This just seems like a whole management situation all year. I really don't draft much of them. I probably have 6%, 7%, which probably, I feel like that's honestly more than I'd like to have, but I'm really trying to cover my ass in case I'm wrong. But yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie once too many times, and I get the upside. There's just other guys I think this year that people should take swings on that are also injury prone. Like
Mhm.
I think guys like Zion and LaMelo. You know,
Mhm.
people in the past have gotten mad at us because our LaMelo or Zion rankings were like always kind of like further behind market. And
Yeah.
people, I remember last year. I'm not gonna say names or anything, but I remember last year I was watching one of your shows and somebody was like asking about our Zion rankings and like, ETR is just way behind on Zion. I'm like, well, Zion is like always hurt, and
Right.
it sounds so corny to say, but I really do think in like NBA basketball, I mean in NFL basketball too, but availability is the best ability, pretty much. That cheesy ass saying, it's so
Yeah.
true in basketball. It's so
Mhm.
true. There was times last year where I had a Jokic team that's luckily snuck into the finals. That was my
Mhm.
second place team. But that Jokic team barely missed it because he missed 5 games in that second to last week or
Right.
third to last week. So yeah, I guys like DeMar DeRozan. He was in my both my lineups last year, first and
Mhm.
second. DeMar DeRozan doesn't miss any games. See, a lot of people don't realize like a lot of these like non-sexy players that just don't miss games, they're like the most valuable ones in NBA basketball. And I know
Yeah.
it's not fun clicking the name DeMar DeRozan, but I'm
Right.
sorry, but it was really fun knowing that he was going to play every game during those 2 week finals when I was using him. That's
Right.
really fun.
Yeah, no, yeah, well said there. I mean, there's this interesting dynamic with basketball that like we have like DFS brain, right? We have daily slate brain when it comes to NBA that we're so enamored with isolated game ceiling, but like we don't think about the ramifications of missing the second night of the back to back in terms of scoring because someone who goes 40-40 and then plays like in terms of fantasy points goes like 40-40 and plays both of those games is actually more viable than when Zion or Embiid pops off for 60-65, but then doesn't play the second night of that back to back. So you're only utilizing 2 of the 3 games in an isolated week.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. And the funny thing is, this year specifically, this is actually the year that you are getting discounts on guys like LaMelo. And I actually have more LaMelo. A lot of people that know me know like I'm a LaMelo fanatic, considering he was like a customer at my former job. But LaMelo's my guy. But I never really drafted LaMelo because he was always just getting drafted too high. Same with Zion. But for the
Right.
first time, people are kind of giving up on those dudes. It seems like, hey, they've fooled me once, fool me twice. I
Mhm.
actually think we can take advantage of that this time because there's not much, there's not many guys that late in those areas of the draft that you're getting that has the upside that they have.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just the injuries aren't like Embiid injuries. They're not like chronic end of career kind of like. Yeah, I get it. LaMelo was not the most trustable guy, but he's still hella young. Maybe they were just bad luck stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm willing to gamble on guys like on the younger side of things, like Zion too.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, we're just basically at a point where the price points are so viable that why not? Yeah. Both
Yeah,
34 ADPs for both of them, and like any daily slate that we play, they're both like top 9 picks every
these
single
guys were
day.
getting picked in like this late second last year. Like,
Right.
I mean, just take the discount. Like everyone's scared off, sure, but you can make up for that too, even if they miss some games. Just take some guys that you can count on later on to like kind of patch up. If you're worried about the games, take guys like DeMar and stuff like that to patch up those games that you're worried about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well said, man. Very much in lockstep with the macro sentiment there of like those 2 targets in particular there. Yeah, a little less so on the Embiid stuff when you're talking chronic injury kind of stuff. Let's talk about some of the targets here, man. Winky, everybody's showing some love in the chat for you. They are here for the Champs Alpha here. Let's talk about some of the targets that you're trying to get overweight on. Are there areas of the draft board where you're like purposefully kind of like flat this year? Like, are you taking any like first round stands? Like Cade's been a huge riser on our site. I know people like jamming Luca from like pick 6 through pick 3. Some people are just like Luca guy through and through there, especially with the most recent LeBron update here. Might miss a month there. Yeah, just thoughts on the maybe in particular the front end of draft boards if you're trying to get overweight anyone, and if so, who?
I mean, it's no secret that Jokic is just a cheat code in NBA. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but the guy is like he's like the best of both worlds. He just has the highest upside, and he never gets hurt. It's literally like,
right.
but the basketball gods did do us all a favor this year for anyone that didn't get the top overall pick, because Denver has like the worst playoff schedule in all of the fantasy, like the best ball playoffs. So it's like, I think the Jokic advance rates are probably going to be through the roof like they always are. But for the first time, you actually have a chance, I think, to take down the Jokic teams once the finals are there. You might be showing up to the finals with a non-Jokic team and be scared shitless, but just realize the guy barely plays in the finals. So you have a chance to catch up to his points. But yeah, in general, Jokic is the guy you want to have. On the flip side, Giannis is like a darling because he has all the games. I mean, Milwaukee they have 22 games, so one less than the max, and Denver has 19. I mean, you're getting 3 extra games of Giannis in the finals as opposed to Jokic. For a while, we actually had Giannis as our number one pick, as our number one ranked guy, but then we just moved things. It didn't make sense. Like, you still want to have Jokic number one overall.
Right.
It didn't feel right. But I mean, still to this day, like, I personally think, I know Dink talks about it. Like, he used to like pick whenever he got the number one selection, he'd get like 2 out of 3 would be Jokic teams, and the third one would be Giannis, just to like make sure. But that's how great of a schedule Giannis has, and obviously, Giannis scores well on the site too. So things like that, like the top 2 picks are pretty obvious. Wemby is the next best guy because that mystery box of just the most highest unknown. I think if there's anyone that's going to take any of those top 2 picks down, it's probably going to be a Wemby team because the ceiling is just way higher than even some like those 2 players. Even though we haven't seen it yet, but I will say it's really cool that Wemby's not taking as many threes in the preseason. A little nugget that people are worried about. That was always my thing with Wemby. I hated that he took too many threes. I'm like, dude, you're a freak of nature. You should be hanging out next to the rim. Like, stop chucking like so many threes. And he's like he's only taking like 1 or 2 per game in the preseason. So that's really encouraging. I don't know if you saw that viral clip of him kind of shacking homeboy up and going for the dunk. He's put on some muscle. He looks like he's going to play down low more. I think Wemby has, I don't want to say like a decent shot, but he has a shot to like beat a Jokic or a Giannis team. As opposed to that, you're pretty much stacked against the odds after those 3. I mean, obviously Luka is a little more enticing with the LeBron news. I've kind of upped my Luka exposure since the LeBron news broke. But after that, you're just catching up. You're just like playing the ultimate catch-up game. So I don't mind getting crazy, looking a little way off the ranks. I don't like just doing wild combinations just because you're going to need some weird shit to happen to take down mega teams like those top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point, man. And we talked about it in the daily slates, how it's like, if you don't roll one of those top 3 draft slots when they're on the slate like that, like the floor ceiling combo of your lineups are like, why not shoot the moon with the other side of the board? I think it's pretty smart to think through those dynamics in best ball as well, opposed to, just hoping that, hey, if I happen to be overweight the right-hand side of the board, that, some injuries happen to the left-hand side of the board. Like, that's not like a way of controlling your own destiny. That's just like a way of like variance potentially benefiting your, your randomness in terms of draft slot to start. So I like the way you're thinking there. Let's talk like some of those specific right-hand side of the board combinations there. Like, who would be, the archetype of a player that you would pull up? Like, do you believe in like Amen Thompson lead handling role with no Fred VanVleet now? Do you believe, Sengun, if he plays the 4 and they play some double big stuff, like, do you believe in anything like that? If like they do the Steven Adams plus him overlap, anyone on the right-hand side of the board here that like particularly gets you excited?
Well, yeah, you pretty much nailed the first 2. Like Houston shot up our ranks as soon as the schedule came out. Them and the Pistons are the 2 teams you want to target most. They're the 2 teams that play 23 games in the playoffs. So those are the 2 teams that obviously shot up just based on the schedule. But then you obviously have the Fred VanVleet injury with Houston, and that just opened up not only just the playoff schedule, but just like the opportunity. And all the coach speak from IMA has been the same. They're going to put the ball more in the hands of a man and Fred VanVleet. I'm sorry, and why am I drawing a blank? A man and
Reed Shepard.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Brain fart. They're gonna put the hands more. They're gonna put the rock more in those 2 players' hands, and I mean they kind of have to. They can't really make a move until the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
if they wanted to. But I mean, now more than ever, they got to see what they have in Reed Shepard. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you could also play through Sengun. You could use him as an offensive hub. So even he's going to have more responsibility, and it's showing in the preseason. The guy's diamond like crazy. So yeah, pretty much the Rockets are the main team that have shot up my boards. That's pretty much my highest exposed team in both
Okay.
sites
Wow.
by far. Yeah, because I mean, Amen is just such a smash, and he's pretty much just like an auto click near the end of the board. That's what I'm talking about, taking those swings. Like Amen has just ridiculous upside if things click the right way. If he figures out how to shoot, and
Yeah.
like if his ball handling like actually holds up, this guy has got, in my opinion, like I don't want to say a Giannis type upside, but like we're talking like near like right a level below Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
So like those are the kind of swings I want to take on the later round, and that's why the Rockets stand out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I love that stance there. We've been in a couple drafts together. I have seen you take some Reed Shepard. Are you the reason his ADP continues to
Nah.
press up there?
I think the reason Reed Shepard's ADP goes up is because one of our subs, UNC, UNC,
Yeah.
he takes Reed Shepard, I think, in every draft I'm in, like a round earlier than expected.
Okay.
Same with Matas. He just kind of sticks with me with Matas.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your boy too.
Yeah. Matas. Oh my God. Matas is easily my highest owned player.
Okay.
I mean,
is that straight homer pick, or is that
I promise you it's not all homerism. There's like
okay.
5% homerism and like 95% like legit belief and truth that I think the breakout is happening.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, hey, he's sixth, and I think we were looking at most improved player odds. He's like sixth up there. Like Vegas believes the breakout's kind of happening too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, he's a fun player to watch. The thing that I really noticed, like, I mean, you could speak to it more than I can, but watching the games last year, especially down the stretch in those games, his ability to attack the rim, like you didn't see it early. He was like tentative, right? And then you saw it later in the season that like his ability to just like win off the drive and go to the rack. I was like, whoa, this kid's like playing with some more confidence now when he has the ball in his hands. That was something that I really noticed, like the evolution of him over the year. Like he's still so effing young, right? So it's
just turned 21 yesterday.
Yeah, right on. Let's talk about just overweight targets in general here. We kind of exhausted kind of like the first round and the back end of the boards there. You talked about Rockets as just a team in general with that schedule stuff. You talked about the Pistons as a team in general. Is that leading you to getting overweight anyone there? Like, do you like Jalen Duren this year? Do you like Ivy as in the 90s or whatever? Do you like some of those targets because of the schedule, or who you kind of getting overweight on right now?
I do love Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren's also one of my highest on bigs. I feel like there's a teardrop, like it's around that Vooch area where like you're choosing between guys like Vooch and Duren. And I just think based on what we saw from the second half of last season, like Duren was like a terrible player the first couple months last year. I personally was like, dude, you got to bench this dude. This is like ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
they were calling for Beef Stew to start when he came back from the injury, right? And they
it
were
was
like,
that
hey,
bad.
Yeah.
And teams were just chucking on. Like, I mean, it was just all bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but then late December hit, 2025 hit, and that guy just became like a beast. Like he just turned a switch on, and I'm like, oh man. And now I was like, all right, let me see this if this is gonna hold for more than a month before I start believing in it, and it did. So I think in general, like all the Pistons, we didn't get to see really Jaden his improvement, but all the Pistons really improved last year under Bickerstaff. Like I think Bickerstaff is really good. How much better did Cade get? How much? Everyone thought Tobias was dead in Philadelphia. No, Tobias went to Detroit and was totally awesome. He's actually one of my highest home players too. During like the improvement mid-season, like he took a jump. I think, and it sucks because Asar had the blood clots. I wanted to see what kind of jump he made, but he's also a guy that I'm targeting this year because I'm like, if this guy sees 30 minutes, he's a Thompson twin. So you can only imagine.
Simply
put. I'm like I fully buy into Bickerstaff. I think Bickerstaff's awesome. I think he did big things in Cleveland. I thought he was a big reason guys like Jared Allen improved as much as he did. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm totally buying into that team. Ivy, it's weird. I don't know if he's part of their future. That's like at this point you have Asar, you drafted Ron Holland, like your wings are pretty much in the hands of like other future pieces now. And this guy was just all out last year while you guys made that jump. So it's like, I really don't know if Ivy's part of their long-term plans, but whatever. Where he's getting drafted, I think he's definitely worth a swing with his potential upside in schedule.
Yeah, no, I like that too. And like a lot of threes are going to open up too, right? Like comparative to last year.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Well, Malik Beasley, he's still unsigned. There's rumors of him going a couple places. I'll wait for that. But they just signed Duncan Robinson, who I'm not really high on, but I know some friends of mine that are.
Yeah.
I'm personally, I don't know. I don't really think Duncan Robinson. They gave him a decent contract. I get it. He was their Michael Beasley replacement. Right. They needed somebody to spread the floor. But to me, I'm just having a hard time believing like a coach would prioritize playing Duncan Robinson so many minutes against guys you want to develop, like a Ron Holland and like an Asar or even an Ivy. We didn't get to see Ivy last year. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I know people want to connect the dots. Like, well, Duncan Robinson could be this year's Malik Beasley. Which, first of all, Malik Beasley wasn't even that great fantasy last year. People just remember like those random games where he explodes. Mm-hmm. But even though I give credit to Malik Beasley more. I think he's a better player than Duncan Robinson. But I think he'd handle the rock a little bit more than Duncan Robinson. I don't know. I'm not really buying it, but yeah, he's pretty much the only person that's kind of getting drafted. I'm not really touching him.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good there. You've referenced a couple times some of your highest exposed. Are you ready to spill some of the goods here for the people? Maybe we'll go position by position here, like some of your highest exposed guards that you're into this year.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I'll give you a little peek behind the paywall. Atlanta, like we're higher on Trey than most. Okay. We're always higher on Trey in the field, but his schedule just sucks. So it's like a really hard click. Atlanta has only they're just like Denver. They have 19 games in the fantasy playoffs. So it's like if you're drafting Trey, you better make sure you're drafting. You know that's Trey's another guy. I usually go 7 guard builds just because I want to make up for the games.
Okay. Good alpha.
Yeah. Anytime you're drafting someone early with like really low amount of playoff games, you probably want to go 7 on that position, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion, you just want to make sure that all their greatness doesn't go to waste once the playoffs hit. Mm-hmm. I wasn't as high on Josh Giddey because I think he was getting picked way earlier than I was comfortable with, but I get it.
Yep.
This shows you like I'm no homer, no homo. Like, I don't have much Josh Giddey, and it sucks because it looks like he's a triple-double threat every game based on preseason so far and based on the second half of last season.
Yeah. Him and Denny Avdia last year were the guys who were ruining slates that nobody had any idea that those ceilings existed to that degree. And, I've been looking back on last year's slates and stuff, and there's just 65 fantasy point pieces from those guys over and over again where they're getting drafted in like the mid to late 20s. And it's like, holy smokes, I did not know that those guys had those outputs in their bag.
Yeah, well, Denny's another guy I can't stop drafting.
Okay.
I should use that as a segue. The reason, like this particular part, like the screen that you're showing me here, I don't generally go early guard. I like to get my stud wings kind of early because I feel like it's easier to find diamonds at the guard position later in the draft. You know who the backup guards are. You know who the tanking teams are. You know which teams are probably going to give their backup point guard a real shot. Like that's why, a guy like Walter Clayton on the Jazz, he's like one of my highest owned guards.
I was actually going to ask about him. He's been getting some steam right now.
I think he's exactly what they need. They already have like guys that could kind of handle the rock on that team. They just need some guys that could hit some threes, and that's Walter Clayton Jr. Like he's diamond too. If they're looking for, he's not a true point guard yet. He's mainly like a 3-point shooter. But if he could develop like actual like playmaking skills and like get his teammates involved, like he's going to be one of the steals of the draft, honestly, because he does a lot of shit. He's a really good player. I think Keontae and I think Collier are not good players. If you look at net ratings, they have two of the worst net ratings in the entire league. They're just not good players. They're good for fantasy, especially Keontae. They got chucks, but in terms of like winning basketball, I think the Jazz are turning a new page, kind of like to the Ace Bailey chapter.
Okay.
Who's also, I think Ace Bailey, my highest owned player, by the way. We can talk about him later. But I think like they're ready to turn the chapter over. Like I think kind of like, even though they just paid Laurie last year, like, I think the Laurie chapter is kind of like, it's all Ace Bailey and Clayton and Cody Williams, as gross as that sounds. That I think is the real core now. And I think they're going to feature it probably every year. By the way, Will Hardy does this. He'll have a guard that starts for the first 2 months and then he'll bench them for their rookie point guard. He does this
Right.
every year. He did it with
Yeah.
Keontae. He did it with Collier. Eventually, he's going to pull the plug on Keontae and Collier because they suck, in my opinion, respectfully. But yeah, eventually, like based on his trend, I think he's going to pull those guys and Clayton's going to get a shot. So yeah, he's been an auto click for me in the late rounds.
Nice. Okay, so Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton as a potential scroll one there.
Cody,
that's
you could take off. I never draft Cody.
Yeah, no, yeah. I put Cody down there just because of the way you were talking about like the potential future there. Let's keep scrolling. Any guards and stuff that also you're highly exposed to now?
Well, I will say I've drafted a lot more Shaden ever since the Scoot news broke. I think he's also a guy that's just excelled in preseason. He's so much ball handling duties. It looks like he's gonna like actually really. We saw flashes of him last year. Like Shaden is just an absolutely gifted player. If he even gets like 3 or 4 extra minutes, it's a huge boost for a player like him. So the Scoot injury boosted my exposure for him pretty much massively. Harrow is a guy that I was drafting so much before his injury, but now that he's dropped, I have been drafting him again on teams that I feel very confident. If I have like 2 like guards that I'm obsessed with, and I feel like confident enough they're gonna carry the fort for the first couple months, I be getting Harrow every time because I'm just like, guy, when he's healthy, and I'm just gonna have a 3 guard monster when he returns.
Right on.
So he's a guy. I just needed him to fall back a little bit more, and now he's at that point. I'm looking right now.
Matt, Sharp looks so athletic. When people just like, not a lot of people watch the Portland games and watch like late West Coast games and stuff like that. Like, man, I think Sharp looks so athletic out there all the time. Like the kid can jump out the gym. Like
literally, you can't close your eyes. You're gonna miss a highlight if you do.
Right. Yeah.
Every time.
No, I feel similarly to you. Like it's like baby almond before it broke out kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I like that
again, like the guards, like this is also it all depends on your draft. If somebody falls to you, you take them, you get the value.
Yeah.
Sure. But me personally, I'm still probably taking some wings around this time and bigs.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, this is underdog. I kind of wait on bigs, but I'm still taking wings here. But in this general area, Shaden and Harrow have been my go-to lately, just because of everything I just said. I also like Nemhard. I think he's rising a little bit more. And Kevin Porter Jr., he hasn't rose as much as I thought he would either. Like when he got announced as a starter, I thought he was going to jump like 2 rounds because everyone loves drafting Kevin Porter Jr.
They love to play him in the dailies.
We talk about this all the time, right? Like Kevin Porter Jr. is one of those clicks that like everyone loves.
Yeah.
So when Doc Rivers a couple weeks ago said he was going to start, I was like, this is the last chance we're going to get him at this price. But he only moved up like 9 spots or so, 10 spots. So he's a guy that I'm still higher on in the market. I'm drafting him ahead of all. Like I don't want no Poole. I don't want no Thomas. Emmanuel Quickley's had a rough preseason. Garland, he's dealing with an injury. This area, Castle, I'd never draft. I think he's way overdrafted. We can lead into that later. I'm a big Dylan Harper guy. But yeah, this area, if I'm usually scrolling to the Reed Shepherds and Nemhards. Like I said, Porter's not coming up enough, but a lot of those guys I feel like are being overdrafted in that area. I also like to wait. If you look at this next range, there's rookies like Trey Johnson and VJ Edgecombe. And I brought this up on one of our streams. And I think Dink refuted it right away because they actually looked into it. But it was referencing something that Gretsch said a while back when he was talking about how people view day 3 rookies in this draft class.
Okay.
And I remember at the time he had said like day 3 rookies in this draft class are not the same as day 3 rookies in a previous draft class because this running back class is so deep, right? Okay. That's kind of how I view about this rookie class in general. Like last year's rookie class was just kind of trash. Like, I mean, we're talking Zachary Ricochet winning rookie of the year. Like it was just not good. This year, as opposed, like you have like most of the lottery picks, like I want to say like 70, 65% of the lottery picks are all just, first of all, just really good prospects. But like not only are they really good prospects, that they're actually guys that do stuff for fantasy. Like they're great fantasy players. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like guys that are just going to, they're not like Ricochets where you're just looking for them to have a big scoring day or something. You know, like these guys actually, you're getting guys that are getting boards and assists and stocks. And it's just so guys like Edgecombe and Trey, like it still shocks me that they're this far behind. Like I don't know if people have been burned from last year's rookie class or what, but like these guys are like not just regular prospects. These guys legit have multiple all-star potential.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's really good context for the people like myself who like, we watch a little bit of summer league here and there, but I don't watch a ton of college ball. Like I follow what people are talking about the draft, but I didn't understand the depth of it. Like I didn't understand how deep this class was in terms of that. Like I thought Trey Johnson looked really nice in the limited action that we saw in summer league there. Like he had some big games in summer league, didn't he not?
Yeah. Trey Johnson, I think, is going to probably be. It's going to sound so wild, but I think he's Cooper Flagg's biggest threat at rookie of the year.
Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice
he is like the most naturally gifted scorer coming out of this draft class. Me personally, I kind of look at him like a Devin Booker kind of player, like the guy that just gets buckets whenever you need buckets. Like he's a hooper. He's like every report that I've read ever since like training camp opened, like all his teammates are like, dude, we can't get this guy out of the gym. We're trying to find him other hobbies besides. Like this guy just lives, breathes, drinks basketball, and it totally makes sense when you watch him play. He's just like a walking bucket, and he's on the Wizards. Like,
right,
the Wizards, like they need him to be the guy.
Right, yeah.
So like I don't know, like people maybe they're scared of their depth chart. Like maybe they're scared of seeing Middleton. Like, but come on, there's a chance that Middleton and McCollum are very much not on this team. Like come trade deadline, and they just give the keys to guys like Whitmore and Trey Johnson and say, "All right, kids, do your thing."
Yeah, no, that's kind of what we've been talking about too, and like how I think it's easy for us to get like so granular and get like deep in the trenches like this because there's this baseline understanding that like we all know that like, hey, the Wizards are probably going to be in that position to do that, to offload, and like we're thinking like 3 levels deeper than like the surface level conversation of like draft players, good team, draft players, bad team, kind of stuff like that. But like, yeah, Wizards are definitely one of those teams. I'd ask another, like anyone else, like team level specifically that you're forecasting to be considerably different than last year, or that you're forecasting could like, our preconceived notions could be thrown out the window with a team. Like the Wizards are clearly not one of those because, we're having the same conversation. Like we still expect Pacers to be pace up. We still expect the Knicks to run crazy rotations because we've joked for years that like Mike Brown is West Coast Tibbs, and now he's just going to the East Coast to run those guys into the ground with the same ideology again there. Is there any kind of like macro sentiment from like a team level this year that like maybe people might be missing on?
Well, to just go back on the Knicks, I actually do agree with you. I was like, when they first hired Mike Brown, I was like, why are you doing this? This is a worry about minutes. You're just going to do the same thing. But according to everything that we've seen, they to be honest, they are deeper. Like it's not the same Knicks team, so they can go deeper. They hired Clark. I mean, they signed Clarkson. They got Yabu now. They're probably gonna actually go 10 deep and with confidence. I feel like so that's different. Nice. Here's a off the wall one. We were talking about Zion earlier. I'm higher on the Pelicans than probably most of the market. Okay. I think people don't realize that the Pelicans. I mean, they do realize it was kind of made like national news, but they made one of the worst trades of the year when they traded their future first round pick from next year to move up just a few spots to draft Derek Queen. You just don't do that in the NBA, not especially because next year's draft class is also supposed to be ridiculous as well, with 3 or 4 franchise-altering talents. So, knowing the Pelicans, Zion's injury history, they have Jordan Poole as their point guard. Like it just makes no sense for them to kind of mortgage their future for this year. But that is the reason why I like them. Like they're not going to tank. That they don't own their pick next year. They want to justify that move that everyone's ridiculing them for. I know Joy Dumars has already said, like, no, that's not. We're going to develop them at our own pace. But come on, when you have the whole country laughing at you, there's got to be a party that wants to redeem yourself, So I personally, I don't know. I just think like they want to be really good. DeJounte Murray, we were talking about how I kind of wait on guards. DeJounte Murray is like a classic example of a guard that I wait on. He's not going to play. They have a target date for like January 1st, I believe. So he's not going to play for the first couple months. He's another one of those guys where I will try to draft him on a team where I'm strong at guard and I could withstand that first couple months. But he's a guy that I want to bank on because they're probably going to play They're probably going to play a bunch of DeJounte Murray. When Jordan Poole's the guy in front of you at point guard, trust me, as soon as DeJounte's fine, he's going to regain that starting role and he's going to play. I don't want to say a bunch, but once the fantasy playoffs come around, you're hoping at that point he's back to his regular minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, Trey Murphy as well. Sadiq Bey. I actually, if you sub to our site, I have a scroll down list in honor of this actual site. By the way, I start off my column by saying, as our friends at Underdog say, scroll the fuck down. But it was for that very reason. Sadiq Bey is one of those guys that I scroll down for. I don't know why. We were a lot higher on Sadiq Bey than the market, and I think people just kind of forgot about him. Like they knew he missed all last year with his ACL, but if you remember, every year this guy has been in the league, he gets near 30 minutes a game. Like coaches love him. You know, like he's a guy that kind of he's a Swiss Army knife. He could shoot, he could guard multiple positions, and the reviews are great. He's playing a bunch. Like he's healthy. He could have came back last year, by the way. People are kind of like, oh, they just had nothing to play for. There was no reason to bring back Sadiq Bey. I saw him walking around summer league. He looked totally hot. Whatever. He's full go. I expect him to play near his 30 minutes a game as well. He's also insurance. People like betting against Zion. That's a classic bet against Zion. If you're worried that Zion's getting injured, guess what? Sadiq Bey is going to be a big beneficiary of that. But yeah, even though they're top 5, top 6 guys are pretty much solidified, Sadiq Bey is going to find a way. And also the Troy Weaver factor. I don't know if people realize. Everywhere Troy Weaver goes, when he was at Detroit, he traded for Sadiq Bey. Then he went to Washington. Detroit got rid of him. He went to Washington. Sadiq Bey found Washington. Then he goes to New Orleans. The first move Troy Weaver makes, he goes and gets Sadiq Bey.
Squad, baby. We got to get him on the squad.
So, when you have a GM that believes in you that much, I mean, come on. He is worth a scroll down, you know?
I wish anybody in this world believed that much in me, Winky. He believes in Sadiq Bey. Oh,
just follows you around and hires you no matter what happens to you, you know? Yeah. You can be a recovering heroin addict. Nah, John, come, I got you, buddy.
We talked about the Derek Queen trade up and stuff like that. Like they clearly love him, right? They mortgage the future for him and whatever. Yeah. He doesn't get drafted on our contest. Is there any chance he starts at the 5 and takes like Misi's role and they just run with it and he becomes a scroll option?
No, Evie. Sorry, Misi's one of my lowest owned players. I don't know if people realize he's kind of like. First of all, they got Kevon Looney. I know people. I'm not saying draft Kevon Looney. But Kevon Looney started a couple of these games now for them in preseason. Like I think they actually have a role for Kevon Looney, and he makes a lot of sense to play next to Zion. You know who doesn't make sense playing next to Zion? Derek Queen. They're like the same player. They're just big dudes who handle the ball that can shoot relatively fine, a little below average, but whatever. They're just big burly dudes that can get whatever they want and who actually have an above average assist package. So yeah, I don't see personally them starting in the future together. I think Derek Queen's only out is pretty much a bet on Zion's health.
Okay. All right.
Which isn't a bad bet. Yep. It's a bet. It's just a bet I don't like making. Right. I know Zion, for instance, like I shared this too with our guys. Like there was a viral video going around with Molly Morrison. I don't know if you know Molly Morrison. She's an NBA writer. Okay. She broke down the Zion contract to a T. Why this year is a little bit different, and this year, like you've seen I'm sure you saw the pictures of him being skinny and all that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This time it's a little different. Like most years, I would just be like, all right, I'm not buying no empty locker room footages like the Ben Simmons videos and whatnot. Like it's obviously you're not fooling me, but this particular reason gives me hope. His contract is directly tied to his health and his weight and his playing shape. Pretty much simply put, if you want to watch the video, go search for it. Just look for Molly Morrison. But simply put, his money is attached to his games. So if he's not playing, or even if he's a little bit overweight, like the target weight, if he's over the target weight, he doesn't get paid. So he's obligated to stay below weight. Like this isn't just him deciding I'm going to be a better. Like no, he wants his money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if he wants to continue to have his money, I'm assuming he's going to stay under that target weight and stay in shape for the rest of the year. So another reason why I've been drafting a lot more Zion than I have in the past.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
And why I
really
don't
good
want to make
answer.
why I don't make a bet on Derek Queen, because I'm a lot higher on Zion.
Yeah. We keep going down these rabbit holes, man. We could talk ball all day
I know.
here.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's good. It's good. It's healthy, man. It's good discourse. It's
Yeah.
awesome to talk about these things and these situations, which we haven't talked about on the program yet. Let's get back to the macro kind of positions here. Let's talk about wings and bigs, and some of the guys that you're overweight now. You're talking about waiting on big, on underdog, just in general there, and kind of doing some of those 3 or 4 late bigs kind of thing. Has that led you to being like, densely concentrated on anyone in particular?
Well, yeah, like I was telling you earlier, me personally, my tendency is to kind of go wing heavy early on
Okay.
underdog. Like I said, I could find guards later that I like a lot more, and bigs are just so deep. Especially if we should have brought this up. If you drafted Jokic or Wemby, you could also use those teams. I should have brought this up earlier. You could use those teams as 2 big builds if you
Okay.
want.
Sure.
You don't have to go 3. It's a little risky now with Jokic's playoff schedule, but he's a guy in the past that Jokic is just generally always healthy, with the exception of that one fucking week last week that almost killed me. But this dude is always almost healthy, so I feel like he's a guy that you can just draft and count on to get you to the playoffs. And whoever your second big is, especially for drafting somebody like before pick 80 or something, if you're going somebody like, I want to say like a typical build I have is Giannis and Jokic and Ayton, because he has a playoff schedule that's very favorable, so it kind of balances out the Jokic playoff schedule. But something like that, if you have like a build like just Jokic and Ayton, you could easily stop at 2 with those guys. So I should have brought that up earlier. Sorry about that. But yeah, I still to go back to your earlier question, it's Jokic or Wemby pretty much early for me. Sengun later if I'm lucky, and then I probably wait. I get a lot of Bam and Mobley because people don't like Bam and Mobley for some reason. They're kind of like those boring picks, but also guys I could rely on. I think Bam is probably like, I'm always surprised whenever Bam misses a game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you need 35 fantasy points in a night, Bam's going to give you 35. If you need,
but at least you know they're coming.
Yeah, if you need 65 fantasy points to win the slate, Bam's going to give you 35 as well. So like, it's just every damn time, man. We talk about it every night in the dailies. Like his projection is so strong. He's always such a good play, and it's like ceiling Bam matters less in this contest than it does in the daily. So I'm in on taking Bam in season long versus like the isolated daily slates, because I don't know, ceiling Bam I have a hard time with, but when he plays damn near every night and he gives you such a high baseline, he makes it such a good pick in best ball comparatively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I take so much. Nobody likes Bam. He's a boring pick, but I'm telling you, like that, he's like the center version of DeMar. Like, you just know what you're gonna get every time.
Yeah. Anyone that's deep here that you like taking some swings on? Like, we're big proponents of Mark Williams around here. Do you think the move to Phoenix is good for his potential value? I mean, Claxton, he's got all the money and he's a double machine when he plays. It just seems like he doesn't play as much as he should there. And we talk about the slates where he becomes a swap option, and like those slates are almost better for us with the Brooklyn stuff. To swap off of him is like a better feeling. And he's got Brook Lopez. Not Brook Lopez. Darren Sharp is the one that we always swap off of him to get to there. Like, any love for any of these back end guys here?
Well, I'm not. You're talking on the wrong guy in terms of Claxton. I've always been an anti-Claxton guy. It's just insane to me how much better the Nets play every year when Claxton is off the floor. Like the on-off numbers of Darren Sharp and like Nick Claxton are just like insane. Like, it's always like anytime Dayron's in the game, their net ratings to the roof. Claxton's in the game, they just suck. So I personally, I'm not a big Claxton guy. There are actually a lot of guys. You were talking about Mark Williams. We were just talking about how the best ability is availability in best ball, and this is a guy who's the anti-poster child for that. I never draft Mark. He's impossible to trust. I mean, he's still not even healthy right now, according to reports. Like, we're a week away, and if Mark Williams is still not healthy, I'm sorry, hands off. So this area, I don't draft Khalil Ware because we like we were talking about, we think Jokic is going to start. We assumed that Keloware is going to back up
Mm-hmm.
Bam. And what were we just talking about? Bam never misses games. So if you're telling me that you're drafting a guy this high, backing up a guy that's never missing games, I'm sorry, I'm out there. It sucks though because the guy is a rates monster. I understand the allure. People like drafting guys that are just, if they're playing, they're going to do a lot of shit. I get that.
Yeah.
But
it also seems like Spoelstra doesn't like the double big setup. Like they played alongside each other a little bit out of necessity last year before they made the trades for like Wiggins and stuff like that, where they had a little bit more wing depth. But like when Butler was sitting and they were only running like 9 each night kind of thing, even then, like Spoelstra didn't love the overlap, I don't think.
I think he wanted to make it work. I think he really did. I actually think the funny thing is, there's another thing, as another subplot of this training camp is how much Spo has been essentially talking shit about Keloware. Kelaware's first 2 games, if you ask Spo about him, like if you read everything about him, Spo was just pretty much throwing him under the bus. He was saying things like, yeah, you guys are looking at the stats, this guy's doing crazy things, but like he was saying, like, does anything he's doing contribute to winning? And I was like, whoa, that's pretty fucked up. But he kind of like doubled down on that the second game, and I was like, yeah, this is just not looking good. But there's also a thought where you're thinking like, all right, this guy's just really coaching him hard. He's a young dude. Keloware is hella super young, so maybe he has to be coached a certain way. But when I first heard those quotes from Spo, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're telling me this guy's not making winning plays? Like it just freaked me out. So between that and like we were talking about just playing backup 5, like maybe when Harrow gets back, they go back to the double big. It's possible. Like I said, I assumed Jovic was a lock as soon as Harrow got hurt. But it's possible maybe when Harrow gets back, maybe Clell's made a jump and they go back. I still doubt it. I think Jovic is primed to have a pretty decent season. But
and they just gave him the bag too.
Yeah, that was another thing that really got because if you look at my exposure rates, which is one of my top 5 guys. So once I saw him get that contract extension, first of all, my first reaction was like, it's a little too much for anything. This guy hasn't even really done anything. I was like, that's a lot of money. But then I was like, well, whatever. They obviously like what they see, so it made me feel warm inside.
Yeah. My running joke right now with Jovic is that he just got more money than Connor McDavid, who's the best hockey player in the world right now. So I mean, like it's pretty crazy.
Connor McDavid chose the wrong sport.
No, fucking right, he did. Yeah, it's almost expensive to get there too. Oh man, conversation for another day. What do you say we hop in a draft here and naturally talk about some other topics that will emerge?
Yeah, let's rock one. Let's see how fast these things fill up in here.
All right.
They generally do on your site, don't they?
Yep. That'll snap fill. We got 2 more spots right now.
Beautiful,
1 more spot. Yeah.
Cool.
I think people are getting the thirst for it too, right? Like, football, we're 6 weeks into it. Hockey, we kind of got the Best Puck Classic and got the start of the season out of the way. Playoff baseball, like people are a little less inclined to do the 2-day slates and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a huge spike in basketball this week as people anticipate next Tuesday and getting excited to play the daily slates.
Yeah, I mean, even if you aren't sick of football yet, your chances are one of your players is out for the season or out for the next few weeks with a hamstring. So NFL is kind of forcing your hand to look towards the NBA's way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We get saddled with the decision.
Oh, come on.
The way down. That's what I'm saying, man.
This is like the worst. This is like the worst spot of the draft.
Yeah, we get the worst spot in the draft, but it's okay because we're the best drafters in the room, Winky, and we're going to navigate this shit. We are going to be men of the people of what we said here. That we're going to flip the board at the back side of the board here to get a little unique, creative combination at the back here.
Let's get nuts. The basketball gods are giving us a challenge that we will gladly accept.
Man, let's talk. I'm hung up on these team notions, also for selfish reasons, because I'm trying to get a pulse on how these teams are going to play for the daily slates and stuff. Like one thing we always chase is pace, right? Because of the added possessions in ball games. There's teams that we constantly gravitate towards, like the Kings for years were teams that we wanted to play because they were up tempo. The Pacers are a team we love to play. Hornets played like this slop it up basketball for 2-3 seasons, and now they're a little bit slower than they once were. Is there any team that stands out to you this year that's like, oh, that team could be fun for fantasy, even if the players aren't necessarily the best, or like they're not, household names, but a team that might just be fun for fantasy purposes on a night-to-night basis?
This feels like you're setting me up for a Bulls question, isn't
Oh,
it? I
here we
mean,
go.
you,
I mean,
you
Bulls
pretty
would be
much
fun.
you
Yeah.
pretty much just nailed it. It's a team of players that are mid that are going to be fun as hell for fantasy.
Yeah.
They've shown no signs of slowing up. They were one of the fastest teams in the league last year. They will be this year. They've
Yeah.
got the personnel to continue and build on that. They're going to chuck and run. That's all they're going to do. So definitely a team that I target. And despite them having a shitty kind of playoff schedule, they only have I think 20 games. But the good news is with the Bulls, like this is why I look at my schedule stuff all the time. The
Yeah.
Bulls do have a decent amount of games in the actual playoffs, the finals.
Okay.
So most of them, yeah, most of the games that they're missing, it's going to be the first two rounds, which sucks. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're just pretty much hoping to get to the finals with them. But once you do, you should feel good about having the Bulls. They're one of the
Okay.
teams. But I will say, in general, I remember I looked into this last year because I was just genuinely curious. Hold on, we're coming up here.
Yeah.
I was generally curious. This is the time of year where every team says they're going to play fast.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just what every team does. They all say they're in the
Yeah.
best shape of their lives. We're all going to play fast. We all want to shoot more threes. It's just a natural thing people say at training camp. And generally, they're actually right. I remember I looked into this last year, and for the first month of the year, like the pace was like 3 or 4 points higher, I think, since the rest of the season. But like once it hit like December. Sorry, here we're gonna go. I think we want to probably go Demonis here. Let's get
Yeah.
our
You
stud
like
big.
Sabonis enough
Oh
that
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
worth it. Yep.
Yeah. We're always
I-
high on Sabonis. The guy's just a rates machine who's never misses games either. He's a boring pick, but I love the guy. This one's where we have a decision to make. Our rankings will say go Trey, but I understand if you don't want to do it because he's just it's such a rough playoff schedule. But we could
Yeah.
just draft. This could be a 7 guard team if you want to do that. That's what I would personally do.
Okay. So we're not gonna flip the board too heavily here. We're gonna
No.
stick with the chalk. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
we can
figure it
get
out
weird.
later.
We can get weird later. Trust me. You
Okay.
don't want to get too weird early.
Okay.
Because like I said, the basketball is a very predictive sport. You pretty much know which studs are going to produce.
Okay. Sounds good. I mean, I am a Trey guy. I like Trey in general. I think Trey's got kind of a bad rap, national media wise for years there. I think he's a good basketball player. I don't think he's as bad defensively as people think he is. I think he has the ability to lock in when he wants to. I just think he never wants to, for all those, shitty Atlanta teams that he was just basically the only guy for a bit. And now that they're a contending squad this year with some really nice additions and some more depth there, like, man, he could be a really strong distributor and, he can create his own shot, which is just something I like.
Yeah, much better team, much deeper team, much higher likelihood of raising that assist rate with getting guys like Kristaps on the team. I imagine the
which was already the best assist rate in the league last year.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure he's going to lead the league again. Like everything he said, he's excited about getting these new guys involved. Speaking of the big, speaking of them while we're at it, Porzingis has been starting ahead of Onyeka, and I don't know if Onyeka is another guy that don't get much of. I think people are a little high on him, but maybe they're also betting against Porzingis' health, which is usually a fine bet to make. But he's another guy that I don't really touch because I think Porzingis is going to start ahead of him. And hopefully he's over that mystery illness he had last year.
Yeah. That was very, very strange stuff. That actually coincided with the Dog Bowl. Hey, last time we saw each other was Dog Bowl in San Diego there together. But that was kind of like right in the midst of how weird that whole illness situation was, because it was Q-tag with an illness and then in, out, then late scratch. Then it was like all of a sudden it was like 5-6 games, and then he was out for a while, and then it reared its head in the postseason again in the same fashion. Very, very strange season for Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, I mean, he even said it. He's like he didn't even know what the hell he had. I don't even know if they still know what he had. It was like the most ultimate mysteries. He would just have crashes out of the middle of nowhere without warning, he said. But he said it hasn't happened since, he went to Latvia. So I'm going to take his word on it and assume he's fine. But yeah.
All right. I like that. The one thing we were just talking about Onyeka there, obviously with Clint Capella gone now, and people kind of chasing the box scores of last year where he was, putting up those double doubles when he was playing, 28 minutes a night, that sort of thing. Is there any chance outside of Porzingis' health that we're going to get like 28-minute a night Onyeka?
Yeah, there's definitely a chance.
Yeah,
I mean, you're probably going to see double big time too. I mean, a lot of
sure.
it's not just the Rockets. A lot of the leagues going double big at times now. It's just become a trend. People saw
Yeah.
it working with the Rockets, so it was like, all right, we'll try it out. People are. So you'll probably. I think they played alongside each other the last night. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they played alongside each other the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have that option. You have that opportunity. You just have the opportunity of Kristaps' health, like we were talking about.
Mhm.
But it's just I don't know. As long as Kristaps is there and fully healthy, I don't want to make a bet at that part of the round. Like, I
Sure.
know
Yeah.
you're kind of hoping for two things to go right there, as opposed to I don't know that part of the draft where I just need one thing to go right.
Right. Yeah.
I just need this guy
No,
to get minutes, as opposed to them. Like I mean, he's fine. He's a contingency player. I feel like he's almost like a he's maybe he could be like the Rico Dowdle. Maybe that's a good
okay.
comparison this
Yeah.
week. You
Yeah.
know, Porzingis is probably going to get the starters minutes. Well, I don't even know if Porzingis starters minutes matter. He's probably going to be kept out no matter what. But he's probably going to get his minutes no matter what Onyeka is. And if anything happened to Kristaps, he's probably going to smash. So I
Yeah.
understand the play. I just not a play I like to make a set, especially with their schedule. That's the thing.
Okay.
Their
Yeah.
schedule is so bad that
Mhm.
I don't want to make that. That's what I was talking about, like the two things happening at once. You gotta hope that he gets the minutes and he makes the most out of it during that playoff schedule.
Winky, we're back up on the clock here. Fox's
So
timeline, not great. I think you're gonna want Denny Avdia here, aren't you?
yeah, you know me pretty well. Yeah, this is where I usually go, Denny,
Yeah.
and just to, I mean, I know we were just talking about him, Demar. Like it
Yeah.
feels good to know that I can count on Demar to play pretty much every game of the finals. So
Yep. Sounds
I like
good.
I like
Is
I
there
like that pairing a lot. It's not exciting, but we'll get weirder as we go.
Yeah, sounds good. No, I like that too, especially when we start guard big to now fill two
Yeah.
wings there. Yeah, I like the shout there. One thing I'll ask you about the Sabonis plus DeRozan. People have a lot of questions about correlation in basketball and season long basketball. Is it fine to make like team level bets like that and just be like, yeah, hey, we could take two kings and we don't worry about them like cannibalizing one another's ceilings on a night to night basis because we're extrapolating the calendar in best ball? Or is that something you're like worried about in like the final week that like for DeMar to really pop off, it's probably with no Sabonis, or is that not a pairing you care about?
No, not a pairing I care about. They generally get their numbers no matter what. I mean, I understand they both kind of fight for the same positional stats.
Yeah.
But I mean, with DeMar, he's pretty much a point space scorer. Sure, you're getting a lot of your points through that way fantasy wise, and with Sabonis, you're getting him through rebounds and assists pretty much.
Okay.
So
Cool.
they differ enough that it's not much of a problem for me, and their schedule is
Mhm.
fine. It's a mediocre
Yeah.
schedule. They have 21 games, so it's not like if they were like two guys like from the Nuggets or something, then yeah, for sure I'd be like, no, we don't want to do that. But if you
Okay.
generally have a fine schedule, then it's not really a problem for me,
All right. Sounds good.
especially if you
Any
don't miss games.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any pulse on the Kings in general here? Like Keegan Murray's going to miss about a month here to start the season. There, they talked about Keon Ellis being their only untradeable asset at one point in time. There, can Levine have a handling role alongside these guys? Can Demar do some point Demar stuff that we haven't seen in a
Yeah.
while? Like Schroeder had the really good international play. I know people are excited to draft him later in the rounds here. Just pulse on the handling role for the Kings here.
Yeah, so the Kings are a little bit tricky only because they have new management in place, right? Scott
Mm,
Perry took over. And the interesting thing about Scott Perry is he's actually been on record like bashing on Zach LaVine. Like
okay.
that was the first thing people thought of when the Kings signed him. They're like, does he know that Zach LaVine's on this team? Because he like went on. He famously said one time that Zach LaVine, he's all stats. He's not a winning player and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I'm a little bit worried that this particular team build for Perry is not his style. So
Okay.
I mean there is some risk with guys like DeMar and Levine because I don't think they really suit the style that he wants to play. Sabonis would be the first, in my opinion. Like if I wanted to start a rebuild, he'd be the first guy I would trade. Probably
Okay.
because you're probably gonna get the most for him, even though it's probably not gonna be a lot, but you're probably gonna get the most from him. helps change the complete identity like overnight. If you just get rid of Sabonis, you're just already a new team by fault.
Right.
So I personally like there is risk that they blow this whole thing up just because the new management in place. But when that time comes, I can't really predict that. So I'm just gonna have to treat it for the time being that these guys are gonna be there for the time being. I will say there is also a guy to promote my own shit again. One of the guys that I wrote on my scroll down list was a guy that I don't even know if it's even been drafted yet besides me. Like I'm the only one drafting I feel like I've never seen anybody else draft him. But that is Nick Clifford.
Okay.
Nick Clifford, for those who don't know, he's their first round pick this year, who was all summer league first team.
Okay.
So the guy is a 5-year college player. So the thing I like about 5-year college players is they're immediately ready to contribute. They're not like projects. And it showed at summer league, like the guy just was putting up numbers at summer league. Obviously, summer league and NBA are totally different. I'm not trying to like say like he did it at summer league. I get it, but I'm just trying to say like he looked the part in summer league. Their wing depth is really crap. Like we're talking about behind guys like Levine. We're talking about like Doug McDermott behind Keegan Murray's Isaac Jones. Like Malik Monk's been on the trading block for like 2 months. Like I think there's like a lot of opportunity for Nick Clifford to like actually make a late season push personally. And again, I don't know if anybody's drafted him. And at least I know when he gets on the court, he does shit.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. I'm trying to think about some other like 5-year guard narratives that like step right into roles. Like I was thinking about Fred VanVleet was a what 3-year guy, 4-year guy, something like that.
I think he was a 5-year guy.
Oh, he was a 5-year guy.
Okay. You're right. You're 4. He was 4.
Directionally accurate on my account there. We're gonna be up here in a half second here. I see some targets that I think you're gonna like, but steer me in a direction here.
I mean, you just got to do it for the brand first and foremost. Yeah, just put the star on it. Yeah.
All right. Zealous it is here. Fill out another wing spot.
Right now, yeah. This is God. I wish we could take Tyler Hero here, but we don't have the ammo to do so with this team, especially with Trey. So yeah, I think we want to go Levine. Oh no, we can't. We already have 2 second rounds. At that point, we're not going to go 3. Shaden. Yeah, Shaden's the guy. Easy peasy.
Yeah, we'll stay a little balanced here. Shaden obviously benefiting from the Scoot injury to start the season there. We were talking about how athletic he was early on there. Another Portland piece. So we kind of got like a little bit of team stack stuff going on here.
That's fine.
And totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually higher on Portland than the market is in general. If you're using our ranks, you're probably drafting a lot of Blazers.
Okay. Who do you think's gonna win the 5 job there? Like, is it just like Klingen's job to lose now, despite the draft capital?
Yeah, I mean, if you heard him, like, I mean, I don't think it's likely, but I know at media day he said he wanted to play 30 minutes a game, and I'm like, dude, if you're telling me Klingen's playing 30 minutes a game, man, he was like one of my favorite. When I first started jumping into these contests, he was like one of my favorite bigs to click because he was. I think he was like getting clicked like around 115, 120. So I was like, this is ridiculous. But he's jumped up to like where he should be going right now. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it sucks because the Scoot thing. I also had a lot of Scoot before he got hurt. This is around the time where I'm kind of making up for that, where I am drafting more Shaden to kind of balance out my exposure there. So I'm not totally fucked with all the Scoot market, the Scoot share that I have earlier.
Yep.
But yeah, Portland, we think they're going to be obviously playing for something this year. They made the move for Drew. They were one of the better second half teams, even in the West last year. I think they're going to be competitors. I don't think they're going to see any tank risk. The only worry behind Klingen is pretty much Yang Hassan, the Asian rookie, who's actually looked fine. Like I was a little worried about him, but he's looked totally the part in preseason. So that I'm just saying, like, I don't think the depth is that great.
Yeah.
They have like Robert Williams, who's always hurt, and Yang Hassan. So if Robert Williams continues to always be hurt and Yang is like, the funny thing about Yang is, I remember Mike was talking about this, how Billups doesn't like talking to players who don't speak English. It's harder for him to coach them if they don't speak English. And that was one of the first reasons we're like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be playing Yang much. But to our chagrin, he's been playing him a decent amount, and Yang's looking the part. So I've been drafting a little bit more Yang as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
just in
no,
case I'm wrong on Klingon.
yeah. Is there any concern that Portland's going to be so strong on D that they don't have to run and play as fast? Like,
Well, that
like
was what happened last year.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they
You're
were
right.
one of they were probably the best transition defense in the league for the second half of the year, and that brought down their pace dramatically. But again, like with this specific team, like again, I'm not worried about guys like Tumani's generally a bill of health. Denny is usually bill of health. Like Shaden, I know he's had his injury parts, but they're generally a tight knit team that I think are playing for a lot, and all these guys do shit.
Okay.
That's what I like about it. You know, it's a concentrated it's a concentrated team,
Yep.
and they're generally reliable, minus like Robert Williams and Jeremy Grant in the last quarter of the season.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, we're much higher than the market. I just think Portland's gonna be really good this year.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. No, I like that. You're preaching to the choir here because we're a Portland house here. I've always been a
Yeah,
Klingon guy, always been a sharp guy. So love it.
yeah. But we do want to keep in mind though, like our guards, like we want to start stacking up because two of our guards have shitty schedules. Like even Shaden, like as much as I love him, he only has 20 games, and
Okay.
Trey we already know has 19. So now we want to start looking for maybe this would have been maybe a team like we'd consider like an Ivy or
Yeah. That's the first name that came to my mind too was
yeah,
the
exactly.
23 game Ivy. Yeah.
Jaden Ivey, Kevin Porter Jr., 22 games. Maybe a Bub Carrington or a guy that I'll talk about later, Trey Johnson. Like,
yep.
All these guys are playing 22 games, so that's where we got to start putting our mind at.
Yeah. You just say Portland would be good. Yes, Portland looks
gonna
good.
Be good. They were good the second half of last year.
Yeah.
They made it. They made a leap.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I mean, you bring Drew there. Like they already had one of the better defenses. Now you're bringing Drew there. Like I think they're gonna, like I said, the pace might be shitty, but I think they're gonna be in every game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Everdy Simon goes there. Let's make these picks, and then I want to ask you some Boston related questions because I do think they're really interesting. Without Tatum, people were asking earlier about what your thoughts on Jaylen Brown's ADP. People are really frothy to click. Okay, let's make these picks here. Okay. We're looking in the guard range.
What's that? So right now the first two guys that pop my head. I'm looking at Ivy and Shepard right now. I know Shepard is really early, but this is what I was talking about getting early. Like I was sorry about getting weird. We already know Houston Rockets that killer playoff schedule to make up for our lack of games. Yes, he's a risk. Yes, they might trade for somebody, but if they don't, and he actually shows out in the first 2 months, and they're like, all right, this guy actually can hold down the fort, you got a rates killer here probably for the rest of the year at point guard.
Love it. All right, cool. Jaden Ivey and Reed Shepard there.
We got our games just caught up just like that.
Right. Yeah. No, I like it.
The two teams that we can catch up with.
I love it. The question I want to ask you about Boston, like everybody really wanted to jam Peyton Pritchard early. Now you see him with a 66 pick here, which is earlier than his ADP. And then also Anthony Simons, who went, 6 from 9 from 3 last Saturday night, I guess. And like, he just looks like he's got all the green light in the world. There were rumors that, he won't make it through the season on that team, that he might get moved there if they go into, quote unquote tank mode or whatever. But if he holds them afloat for a while, he could stick around. Yeah. Just thoughts on Boston in general in the absence of Tatum here.
Well, that's the big question, right? The Tatum. I mean, it's no secret. Everyone knows that Tatum's trying to come back before the season starts, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Every day, I feel every day in Slack, I feel like there's a new report that comes out, and we're like, I guess we got to add another game or two. It just makes no sense. Like you've seen the signs on the wall. This team has nothing to play for. They've shed so much salary to get beneath the apron.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what. I know what Tatum's thinking. He's got that, isn't he like obsessed with Mamba? Like he's got that Mamba mentality. He probably feels like he owes it to himself to give it I don't know. Maybe they'll let him come back for one game. Like, all right, good job, Jason. You did it. You came back earlier than expected. But even if Jason Tatum comes back, like, what do we get? You're not gonna get back-to-backs. You're probably gonna have a minutes limit. Like, I know a lot of people are selecting Jason Tatum. I'm not one of those guys. I don't think I have one team with him yet. Maybe, but. Yeah, because of that, I actually think the question more isn't the backcourt. I think the question more is the front court.
Okay.
You have the the when you have a center rotation of Neemias Queta
Data.
and and Xavier Tillman and Luke Garza, like those are your three centers. Like I I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. I've tried breaking it down. I've wrote about it. I wrote about thoughts. I I think Kate is a fine player. I just don't think he's a starting center in the league. I don't think he should ever play more than like 20 minutes a game personally, but this is the hand they've dealt themselves. So it's all about like who do you think is gonna come out on top?
Mm-hmm.
I know we're higher on the market than Kata. Like he's one of our highest rated players. Like I know Mike has a bunch of Kata.
Okay.
I'm happy you're taking swings on guys like the Water Boy, Chris Boucher, Luca Garza. Me personally, I have a theory that they play a very specific style of basketball, and as you know, they've always been playing 5-out with Horford and Porzingis. Like they want to have shooters on the court at all times, and Garza and Boucher are shooters. They actually were asking Boucher about starting today, and he was like, "Whatever." But there's a possibility somebody like Boucher could start. You never know. But that's the real question. I think their backcourt's fine as long as Simons and White and Pritchard are there. They're going to be fine.
Okay.
I think they're exactly fine where they're at value. I have no problems with either of them. I just select any of them whenever they fall to me. But yeah, you gotta just roll the dice with the bigs. Me personally, my favorites have been Boucher and Garza. Tillman's not even an option, so you're pretty much choosing between Queta, Boucher, Garza. Queta, if you think they'll go small at times, which I do think they will. But yeah, one of those guys are gonna hit unless they make a trade.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know that, so I'm just dealing with what I know now.
Bring back Time Lord and let him play some backup 5 and let us have 28 minutes a night. Yeah, say again.
For 5 minutes,
for 5 minutes.
You can't trust Time Lord out there long.
I just want 28 minutes a night of Klingin, so I was putting that one back together.
I'm being greedy. I want the full 30 that he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we kind of played catch up at the guard position here.
This is great though. I like our guard room right now. Like I feel really good about Trey. Obviously, he's one of the best point guards to have, and we got Shaden, who's on the up and come up, who's going to have a ridiculous role, and two guys who, I mean, I as long as Ivy's healthy and Shepard's fine, like two guys are going to be reliable to play most of the games down the stretch when we need them most.
Perfect.
I think our guard room's fine. We can still catch up if needed.
What do we like at this point in time? Norval getting some steam. Richeche rookie of the year. There's a bunch of bigs that I don't think we really like at the top, unless you like. I don't really like that.
Jakob is. I was gonna say he's probably the guy I'm thinking of next because there is kind of a tier break after Jakob.
I agree.
I don't really like him as a player, but at least he's better than the most behind him. Yeah. I'd probably go Jakob just to get like a solid. Also, a guy that's reliable as well. I mean, I know Toronto had their tanking shenanigans, but generally, he's been a healthy guy for most of his career. Right here, this is a weird one. I don't have much Jaden, but he's dropping, so I think you're okay taking Jaden because we're getting such decent value on him.
Okay. He's kind of he's kind of one of those boring boring archetypes outside of the postseason last year where he really showed out when he was playing 38, 40 minutes a night. Like not a crazy rates guy, but
no. But he's always going to grade well on Underdog because of the stocks as well. We were talking about. I also don't think he's going to have to play as much on ball as he did before, which would allow him to roam. Play near the basket, get more boards, stuff like that, more blocks. So that'll help him a lot, but. I generally don't like him, but he's just falling so far at that point. We're just getting good value. Might as well get him for the exposure.
Yeah, sounds good there. Yeah, a little more balanced now with this 4-4-2 start there. Jakob Poeltl as a second big, and then Jaden McDaniels, good UW boy, added on there with like 12 picks of ADP there. I was staring at some of these rookies, and like I was looking at VJ there. I was looking at, we haven't talked about D'Lo yet with no Kyrie. Like, he has a potential to be back in January, allegedly, but like, I don't know. Is D'Lo? Have we seen that movie too many times? Cam Whitmore is like a dude that I think can hoop. Like, I really like Cam Whitmore as a basketball player. Maybe the same thesis as Trey Johnson, but at the wing position there with Cam Whitmore, expanded minutes down the stretch. Any interest in any of those guys that I just brought up?
Well, Cam Whitmore's a guy I can take plenty as well around this time because I'm building for that late season upside, and I think I feel like it's pretty likely by the trade deadline they're going to find somewhere to send Chris Middleton. I mean, he's expiring. I mean, he's really not going to matter much. If you're going to keep one of the veterans, just for like to keep an adult in the locker room, it'd probably be CJ. Middleton's, he's an expiring. He's two shitty ankles. They'll find a place for him, which should open up a bunch of playing time for guys like Trey Johnson and
Cam Whitmore.
And Cam Whitmore, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Man, but yeah, you're all right. This is the part of the draft though where I usually go Trey or VJ, but I saw earlier somebody selected Trey before us. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was like, do we go VJ? But not. I thought about VJ, but we want to get a second solid big here before it gets ugly.
So yeah, Son of Kong's out here playing the hits against us. Takes both VJ and Trey.
That's usually my move. That's been my move forever.
I feel like
he's seen me do my thing before, but yeah, like those are my two favorite by far.
I like it.
VJ. I've had VJ as a starter honestly since they first drafted him. I know people were like, I know he had some breaks along his way, like with Jared McCain's injury, and I just think like it makes total sense. PG's injury as well. Like that guy is like ready to play right now. He's a stud. It makes so much sense on this particular version of the team to get that added length and defense to make up for all the immobility of Embiid and Paul George. Like he's just like, have you watched him play yet?
No, I have not seen him at all. VJ I saw a little bit of the first summer league game that he was in, but I haven't seen a ton of VJ. I don't really know.
He reminds me of like just like imagine if like Jimmy Butler like drank some like juice that like really beefed you up and enhanced your powers and like some Monstar type shit like on Space Jam. Yeah. I feel like he's like that. Like he looks so much like Jimmy out there, the way he runs and shoots, and even his jump shot looks a lot like Jimmy. But he's just much better prospect than Jimmy ever was when he was coming out.
All right. Hopefully, can you shoot the three a little bit there? Because like
he could shoot, of course, yeah.
Okay, cool.
He could defend. He could shoot. He does everything an NBA coach would want out of a rookie. And Nurse admitted it. He even said like the other day, he was like, I wanted to see how he looked next to Tyrese, and he looked amazing. Like that was the worry. The people were like worried, how is he going to play next to McCain before McCain was injured? McCain and these guys that handle the ball so much. He doesn't need the ball that much, but he just does so much even without the ball.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that's a really bullish sentiment. I'm excited to watch him now.
Also a fun guy to just root for. Like the ridiculous high flying dunks. Like he's a highlight reel every day too.
Love it. Okay. Those are the type of players I like to get excited about.
Yeah.
Ooh, stacking up the Tear Twins. Yeah,
I like that. I like that build too. I get a lot of Jabari and a lot of Tari when I miss out on guys like Durant or on men. If I'm missing out on men or Sengun or KD, that's usually when I'm reaching for guys like Reed or Tari. Yeah.
Any love for anyone in this range here?
I do. The other rookie that we haven't really talked about much about, Khan.
Yeah.
This guy is just a winner. I mean, I think he's going to start off the bat. That's still a question in the making, but I think he's going to start.
Okay.
And Devontae, good job with that. That was perfect. I was going to suggest him next. God damn it. Oh, that was us. Sorry, no, I thought somebody selected him before. Yeah, you picked the two guys that I want. I want Devontae and Khan here. But yeah, I think Khan's going to play right off the bat. I think he plays winning basketball. I think he's a perfect connecting piece to Brandon Miller and LaMelo. He just makes so much sense next to them. Khan's been one of my favorite go-tos.
What stylistically, how's Khan play?
He just plays. I think it was funny. I think it was Mike that was talking about it. The guy he's not athletic. You wonder how he gets the numbers that he gets. He kind of awkwardly moves. Like he's not aesthetically a great player. He's just a great player.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Like he just does all the little things that winning basketball, requires.
Okay.
And he's a killer shooter. Like I said, he's going to get a lot of open looks playing next to LaMelo and Brandon Miller. So he's a killer shooter. He's a hustler. He's one of those guys that'll dive for loose balls left and right. Like he's just like a coach's like darling.
Sounds a little poor man's Denny Avdia, like.
Yeah, but much better
Yeah.
shooter than Denny. What
Much
Denny
better
was coming
shooter.
out.
Okay, cool.
Denny's thing coming out of college
Yeah.
was the biggest worry was his shooting ever going to come. He was just
Okay.
not a shooter coming out, or not out of college. Sorry, out of Israel.
Yep.
But yeah, his shooting came along, and you have guys like me who questioned Denny coming out of the draft looking stupid.
Who else won in this range here that we could talk about here?
Santi Aldama. He's
yeah.
Santi. You could just talk about both the bigs. So Edie's a guy that I just love taking. Like when I really need to, I actually just love taking him. Like even like Jokic builds, because you're just drafting Edie for the second half of the season. Anyway, as long as you know that going in, and this guy has 22 games in the playoffs. And if you remember last year, once Taylor Jenkins left, the coaching staff loved Edie. They were playing this guy like 30 minutes a game down the stretch. And I remember at the time thinking like, dude, I really got to be higher on Edie like when next season's basketball season starts. And then he got injured. And I'm like, God damn it, this is a guy that I really wanted a lot of. But we're playing a game, as you know, that you're swinging for the fences and all the money's at the top later in the season. And so that's why I think Edie makes so much sense, especially for a Jokic team where you already know you don't need to worry about anything with Jokic. He's probably going to have, most of the weeks handled by himself. But a guy with that kind of upside that has a killer playoff schedule, you could easily do an Edie Jokic team and stop at 2 centers right there.
Okay.
You know
like that shout. Yeah, man. We saw some monster ceiling games from him when some of the other guys were out, and then they kind of went back to moving like JJJ to the 4, like how they used to play.
I love JJJ this year too.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't talked much about Memphis. Is there any concern about like Ja not being ready for, opening night and like that sort of stuff?
He's pretty much downplaying it. He's telling everyone, like everyone's like tripping out, like he's totally fine. It's still Ja. I think we have a proper amount of games stocked. But even having said that, he was one of our favorite clicks before that, and now you're getting a better price. Honestly, I'm not worried. I think Memphis is. They also a team that just kind of like don't have depth. Like we're talking about, Vince Williams never turned out to be much. Clark's injured. G. Jackson was a flash in the pan. That didn't turn out to be much. They drafted Cedric Howard in their lottery, who's also a late round guy that I love drafted, by the way.
Okay.
He's a guy that's been in college forever. Who's a freak of nature. He's got like 7'6" wingspan. Coward. Like COWARD. Like you're a coward.
Cedric Coward.
Yeah. Okay. He's a guy that I love drafting late. But yeah, I think they're also just not a deep team. Like I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope sucks. I think there's like actual room to like break through for somebody like Cedric Howard, who's a lottery pick, who has a lot of potential. This guy was supposed to go to Duke last year, by the way. He was like, Duke don't just bring on shitty players.
Sure, yeah.
He was gonna start at Duke, but he was just such a freak at the combine that like his agent's like, dude, you gotta go in the draft like now. Like people want you. And he was one of the fastest risers in the draft. And yeah, Memphis traded a future first to move up to draft him. Like they pretty much did what Atlanta did with Queen. I'm sorry, what New Orleans did with Queen. So they traded a future first to get up. Like I think like he's a lottery pick. Like all he's got to beat is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for like minutes.
Right. Yeah. Who do we like here, Winky?
Right here, you go Dante. Dante is another one of my favorite guys.
Okay.
I think there's a real chance he could be starting for majority of the games this year. I'm always going Dante. We could probably still wait on bigs. There's no bigs. There's probably later round bigs I like.
Okay.
Wing troll. No. Go back to the wings. Let me see the wings. So yeah. Go guard again. Okay. Sorry. We're gonna go guard, and you're probably gonna take. I'm looking at Grimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Take Grimes right here.
All right.
Because I'm looking, we don't have any Philly exposure.
Yep.
So it makes sense. Yeah. So it's not a VJ team. So if Grimes is really going to come, mind you, I don't really like taking guys on qualifying offers. That sign qualifying offers because I think that they're just really not part of the future team plans, especially like guys like Cam Thomas.
Yep.
Like those guys, like I haven't drafted much Cam Thomas ever since he signed the qualifying offer because I just know how the Nets are going to think. Like, well, you're not going to be part of our team next year. We're just going to play our 5 first round draft picks this year instead. So like, they have no reason to play Cam Thomas.
Right.
But yeah, guys that are unqualified. But Grimes is different just because they need him. Like they're already dealing with so many injuries.
Yes.
So he's kind of like right now.
He played so well down the stretch last year when they
don't
had like 8 to 10 bodies.
That was a Mickey Mouse March though. That was different.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to have the same opportunity on this team with a lot of these guys back. So I'm not drafting him because of what he did in the later part. I'm drafting him just because I think he's a solid player who could put up reasonably decent stats and probably be starting from day one.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got 7 at the guards now. We got 5 at the wings and 2 at the big. So we're probably going to spend at least one of these picks on a big and then probably the other one on a wing as well. Or are you fine with 5 wings?
No, we're going wings here. We're going wing big to finish. Yeah.
All right, wing big.
And then we'll be done. Finish. Yeah, you could pretty much eliminate the guard. But this is exactly what I want to do. I wanted to have a 7 guard build with Trey, which is what we accomplished. We filled in the games played with perfect players, so I'm happy there. Our guard room is legit.
Yep.
Yeah, if Reed Shepherd pops, this guard room's nice.
Yeah, it's a strong one. Yeah. I like that.
And our wings, we're talking about like reliable motherfucker. Like these guys never miss games. So we have the upside. We have the upside with guys like Matas and Khan and Denny. Yep. So we have upside there, and we have stability with games played. Demonis and other things. We're talking about stability in games played. We don't have to worry about he's probably going to be representing our bigs every week. Jacob's a good big 2 just in case something happens to Sabonis. Right now we could swing for an upside pick like a Boston big if you want, or a J Huff. J Huff's my personal favorite.
Yeah. I mean, J Huff's a really cool story that just playing his way out of a 10-day last year to getting a real contract to then getting I believe it's a 3-year deal with the Pacers that he got. That's just a great story in general.
He just also does a lot of the same shit Miles Turner does. Like,
yeah,
I don't have him starting like we have Isaiah starting ahead of him, but I think it's going to be only a matter of time before. I mean, the guy. If you look at his per 36s, all his numbers are pretty much better than Miles Turner. I'm not saying I'm not saying per 36 is like a gospel stat. I'm just saying like he could pretty much do the same things that Miles Turner can do. And he's a fine defender, so I think he's going to fit the style of play that Carlisle wants to run perfectly.
Yep.
Jackson, I mean, I know Carlisle likes him, but he's had a hard time staying healthy his whole life.
Both the bigs behind him, both him and Wiseman have just never stayed healthy.
Yeah. So I like the fact that he's got that out. Besides, like he's got the injury out. Or if one of those guys gets injured, he's going to get a minutes boost. But I also just think he's got the talent out. Like I think he's just a more talented player than those guys. I think eventually there's a chance he could take that starting job away from someone like Isaiah Jackson.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like the
race guy though. Like he blocks. He has a higher block rate than Miles Turner. You believe that?
No, I did not believe
I couldn't believe that either. He has a higher block rate than Miles Turner. That's the one thing that Miles Turner is known for.
Yeah.
So I think
that and bricking threes from the top of the arc. Postseason last year, just like watching the games there and just seeing how wide open he was. We were playing those threes every night for Miles Turner, and he would get 6 attempts, and he'd just brick the shit out of him. I think we've talked ourselves into J Huff here. I'm going to let the clock run a little bit, and then we can make the decision on wing time.
Yeah. The wings kind of suck here. But I was just going to say Sadiq Bey. God, you know me so well. But I was just going to say, do we have any other Pelicans? We have DeJounte. Anybody else on our team? That's just DeJounte, right?
I think just DeJounte, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can go Sadiq Bey on this team.
All right, sounds good. Just bet on the come up there. Is there any reason to leave the light on for Jaime Jaquez? I know, like, it's just when he gets an opportunity to play, like we love him in fantasy. He does so much in those isolated starts, but like for whatever reason, I don't know. Spoelstra doesn't like him or whatever, doesn't play him at all. He gets buried and he plays no minutes for like 2 weeks, and then he comes out and plays 32 one night and scores like 60 fantasy points, and we're like, why the hell isn't this guy playing more? Like it's so crazy.
Well,
Man.
there was that rumor that I won't say is
Yes,
correct or not.
yeah.
But there was a pretty vulgar rumor going around about his ex-wife or supposed ex-wife.
Ulstra's ex-wife. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not confirming it was true or not, but that's the only thing I've heard of why he could have fallen out of favor.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, right?
Because he played well in his rookie year.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And then just totally fell out of favor.
He passes the eye test in my estimation.
Yeah, but my problem is there's just a lot more depth. I think everyone knows that obviously they got Norm Powell.
Yeah.
Simon Fontecchio, I think, is a good player too. Simon Fontecchio, I think, is going to play a decent amount of minutes. He's another guy that coaches love playing. Wiggins is probably going to, he's there from the beginning of the year now. So as opposed to last year, we got traded midway through the season. So just a lot more hurdles for Jamie to jump over this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is the payoff really going to be worth it if he ever, gets to this? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're taking some darts at the back end here. Why not play Sadiq Bey, who looks to have a cleaner path than that? Man, fun draft. 7-6-3 here. We go Trey Sharp, Ivy, Reed Shepard, DeJounte Murray, Dante DiVincenzo bounce back there, Quentin Grimes. We don't love the contract situation there, but they're going to need him in the rotation, especially at the start of the season there. And then Denny Avdia, DeMar DeRozan, Buzelis, Jaden McDaniels, good UW boy. Con, how do I say Con's last name?
I'm not going to even try.
Canoopel?
I don't want to vulture it either. I think it's Canuple.
Canuple, okay.
I think it's Canuple.
Well, let's roll with it. Sadiq Bey, Sabonis, Jakob Poeltl, and then Jay Huff. Not something I would traditionally do, like this kind of like thinner, in my estimation, thinner.
It's not thin.
Room
it's
like
got
that.
Sabonis.
Yeah, it's not thin, right? Yeah.
The All-Star snub in back-to-back years. They got Sabonis on this team. He's a hell of a big man anchor. Like I'm always like it sucks again. Like you're never happy drafting Sabonis just because of where you're at.
Sure, yeah.
Positionally, you're drafting at that far end of the draft. That's the main reason I'm not ever gonna like my Sabonis teams. But for that part of the draft, like you're just getting a rock solid like big man that you never have to worry about. And I think that's valuable. Especially what we were talking about. Like I'm just going to keep banging the drum. Like you want guys who don't miss games in best ball. It is key. Like last year, I just keep thinking about that Jokic team. I find it hilarious that I had a Jokic team that finished in second and a Giannis team that finished in first.
Right.
And the one reason that Jokic team finished in second was because the games played.
Right. Yeah. Well done, man. That was a pretty strong draft there.
I feel very happy. It's got Matas.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
the draft already won.
Yeah, it's a good floor ceiling combo in terms of what we did, right? Like, we back weight those games that we were talking about to off of the Trey stuff. You take some ceiling shots with like Reed Shepard in there. Then you get the DeJounte Murray, like, hey, hopefully he's back a little bit sooner / he'll be there for the money weeks at the end to cover some of those games from Trey. And then we get, a lot of games played at the wing department here, coupled with a little bit of ceiling there and some rookie shots, or at least young guy shots there. Man, this is fun.
I thought this draft was actually, I think we killed this draft, honestly. I'm not just saying that. I tell you if I think that this draft sucked, but considering the draft position, I think we killed this draft.
Awesome, man.
It's got a lot of boring guys that I love.
Yeah, no, likewise, actually. I really like that we have some overlap in the players in which we like there. Winky, man, appreciate you so much, dude, taking the time here. Everybody go check him out on the X Machine. Go check out ETR and all those what's the name of Mike's article, like his takeaways from the what's it called?
He has a matchup article that comes out.
The preseason one right now.
The preseason one. He's doing a change log that pretty much updates every little detail that you want to see from the preseason rotations. And it's the first thing I do every day. Every time I wake up in the morning, I just go straight to the change log to see if there's anything I might have missed.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, that's
great. And you still have my scroll down list is on the site. You literally, I think it's like 17 players deep now. They're all my favorite players that you generally have to scroll for that you're not going to get 100% ownership on in these contests. That's usually my favorite thing that came through big time last year. I mean, that list had guys like Peyton Pritchard on it, and Norman Powell, and Kyle Filipowski, like guys that no one was drafting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping we can get the same results this time around. Not just for my column's sake, but for my exposure sake, because I have some of these guys that I've written up.
Love it, man. Yeah. No, I love that. I love the avenue of like guys who know ball, talk ball, so vested in this, but then also back it up financially by playing these games. And I mean, you did it so well last year by actually winning the contest too, which is just incredible stuff, man. Shout out to you again there. Guys, the double dribble, 64% right now. So let's get this thing filled up. People are getting excited for tip off next Tuesday for the NBA. We'll have a 2-game main slate on that one. And then the larger slate will be the Hump Day Hoops on the Wednesday there. So getting excited for the daily streets. But we got to fill this basketball contest first there. I will be in the streets for the remainder of the week here. I'm going to try and get up to 50. I will most likely land in the 30 to 40 range there, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do at least, I'm going to be registering for 10 of these a day, and hopefully we can fill them. So a lot of fun there. Anything else for the people, Winky?
No, you'll probably be seeing me in all these rooms. Like I said, I have so much to catch up. I have to get like 60 done before next Monday. So most likely you'll be seeing me in these rooms. Just leave Matas to me, please. That's all I ask.
Love it.
The only thing I only ask one thing.
Yeah. Appreciate the time, my friend. Way too much fun. We could talk basketball all day, but we're going to cap it right there. All right, guys, back tomorrow for Winner Circle that has moved from Monday to Wednesday. We got some really cool stories from Winner Circle. Unfortunately, Jay Baconator and Jay Sam will not be able to join us, but Awen's going to join us, and I got a really cool story for them that it was just awesome. We'll talk about it tomorrow. For now, everybody's favorite time of the show, the Pay Shout
Love you guys.
VCR.
Thank you.